right, Cubs fam, it is a new year, and we have got lots of free-to-play players out there in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I am here today to hold your hand and help all of you free-to-play players out there to be the best free-to-play players in the galaxy. We got 7 tips. I know that's a strange number. 7 tips on how you guys can be the best free-to-play players in the galaxy. Go ahead and punch it, Chewie. All right, Cubs fam. Like I said, we're here today to talk about free-to-play tips for all of you free-to-play players out there. Now, I understand I am not a free-to-play player. I am definitely paid-to-play, but I have a lot of free-to-play friends that I consulted to put together this list to give you guys the best possible advice on how to be an outstanding free-to-play player in the game. So let's get right into it. Starting with tip number 1, get a Galactic Legend. Now, I understand this may be something a lot of free-to-play players, especially new free-to-play players, would kind of wince at and feel upset about even. I just want to emphasize how important this is, however, and how possible this is. I know plenty of free-to-play players that have 1, 2, even 3 Galactic Legends. In fact, I got a DM recently about a free-to-play player who is almost to have their 4th Galactic Legend. Obviously, that free-to-play player, ultra efficient, getting crystals probably in both of the top squad and fleet arenas, etc. I'm not here to say that you need to be like that, but be working towards a Galactic Legend. This is a grind for a free-to-play player that's going to take 6 months or more. It's going to take a very long time, and if you don't start as soon as possible, then you're never going to have one. The importance of a Galactic Legend for a free-to-play player in particular cannot be overstated because it's going to make a huge difference in squad arena, a huge difference in your grand arena, but not just that. We've also now got raids where it's going to be absolutely critical to be able to have high damage dealing characters, strong, formidable squads that come with Galactic Legends. In my opinion, the best character to go for a free-to-play is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. That's where I would recommend allocating your resources for Galactic Legends because he just has the most all-around use. All right, getting into tip number 2, hoard harder. Hoard harder. You really need to be careful as a free-to-play player to be spending resources only on that which matters, okay? There's so many different things you can pour those Zetas into, so many different things you can spend your Chirotechs on, etc., etc. So what my top recommendation is to only spend those resources when it is allocated towards your primary farm. And if you don't have resources to devote to that, save everything. Save it until you have something that you know is going to benefit your overall goals. I know free-to-play players who will hoard Zetas, which is actually not just a free-to-play thing to hoard. That's kind of like anybody hoarding those resources and dumping like 5 at a time, etc. You might do the same thing with your Chirotechs, with your Carbantes, etc. as you're gearing these things up. Now, understandable, if you're farming a Galactic Legend, you might not have an opportunity to hoard because you're gearing up so many characters at once. That's totally fine. But when you don't have that primary focus of, this is the character I need to farm, or maybe you're stuck between gears 11 and gear 12 and 13, and a lot of those other resources aren't being used, that's the time to hoard so that you are saving those for the moment in time that you do need them. All right. Tip number 3, kind of along the same vein, is stay focused on what you are farming. It is very, very easy as a free-to-play player especially to get way too diluted in what you're farming. You get your favorites going up to 10, 12, 13, 14 characters. Look, that's even hard for a whale to manage, much less a free-to-play player where you can really only afford to gear up 1 or 2 characters at the same time. Even for Galactic Legends, if you're working towards your Galactic Legend, my recommendation is to break up that farm in groups of, in pairs, or even maybe no more than about 5 characters at once, just so you can build up one team, another team, etc., so that you have, that's also beneficial mentally, by the way, just so it feels more attainable for you to break up those goals. But also, it is easier as a free-to-play player to just focus on a few characters at once. If you're putting all the gear on all of these characters all at once for a Galactic Legend farm, then it's gonna feel like you're never making an ounce of progress because there's just too many characters to gear up at once. So break that up, have a small list of characters that you're farming, and don't lose focus. Don't get distracted. Don't introduce new projects, etc. As a free-to-play player, you need to be laser focused on what it is that you are farming next. Now, tip number 4, and this, my friends, this is what separates the men from the boys for free-to-play players. Invest super hard in mods. Super hard. This is an everyday quest for you as a free-to-play player to find the best mods you possibly can. I cannot emphasize this enough, and I cannot tell you how many whales out there aren't doing this. A lot of pay-to-play players will invest in mods, and you'll find, you know, some really stupid mods amongst the pay-to-play players. There's a lot of pay-to-play players that get complacent with that. If you are never complacent with that, you will always be relevant. You will always be relevant if you make mods a daily quest. Go through your mods every single day. Find the speed secondary. Upgrade your blue mods to see what those other 2 stats are. Upgrade your purple mods to see what that last stat is. Don't let those fly by. If they have speed on them, upgrade them to level 12. See if they proc that speed. Always be farming those resources so that you can slice those mods, etc. This is very important as a free-to-play player, because if you have got the relevant mods, if you've got the good mods, you're going to be relevant yourself. You're going to compete, etc. So be very careful to always invest in mods as a free-to-play player. Try to never let a day go by without doing something with mods. All right, tip number 5, pick an arena to focus on. Now, some of you free-to-play players will be out there and you're taking first place in squad arena and fleet arena. This tip doesn't necessarily apply to you. If you've already found a way to, to take those top spots in both arenas, you're good to go. You're already miles ahead of most free-to-play players. But a lot of free-to-play players aren't getting first in either arena. So instead of telling you guys, just get first in both squad arena and fleet arena, my recommendation is to pick one, because both are going to be super beneficial, even if you're just doing one of them. One is better than none, and getting to one first is a lot more mentally attainable than trying to go after both at the same time. Also, if we're talking farming resources, that's going to be an issue as well as a free-to-play player. So look at what you're closest to. Is your fleet rank at rank 50 and your squad arena rank is at 1,000? Okay, so let's work on your fleet a little bit more. Get in touch with your fleet chat. Find out how competitive it is, etc. Maybe that's going to be the first one you go for. And then once you're getting those resources, then worry about going to tackle your squad arena so you can get up there too. Ultimately, I think the goal is going to be to get both so that you can get the resources from both of them as a free-to-play player. That would be the ultimate goal. But starting with just one is so much more manageable, I think. And spoiler alert, I think for a lot of you, it might be fleet. I am not one of these lucky people. My fleet arena is super competitive, and so I kind of just don't do it because I just don't love fleet, and I don't like how competitive my fleet arena is. Most people, however, have a fleet arena that's not really that competitive. Squad arena, very competitive. Fleet arena, maybe not so much. And so it might be the easier out of the two to get to first. And then if you can take first every day, it's 400 crystals a day. That's that many more crystals that you have in your pocket to farm your squad arena team so that you can get up there in squad arena. So pick an arena, get there. Unless you're there already, in which case you can just ignore this tip. Hopefully you skipped ahead to whatever the next tip is. All right, tip number 6. This is huge, all right? If you are the most dedicated free-to-play player and you want to rock it as a free-to-play player, you need to be in a guild where you can get top 10 in the heroic Sith raid. This is very manageable for free-to-play players in today's environment. It is going to benefit you so much more to be in a guild where you can consistently get top 10 in the heroic Sith raid than it will benefit you to be in a guild that is super heavy and you are getting last place in the heroic Sith raid. as a result. That extra chance of getting the fully crafted gear adds up tremendously over time, and that saves you so many resources, so many crystals, so many refreshes, so much time on those characters getting that fully crafted gear that comes from top 10 placement in the Heroic Sith raid. I cannot emphasize this enough. This tip actually came from my Twitch chat, and as soon as I saw it, I thought that is the best free-to-play tip maybe ever, because that fully crafted gear, you get even just one of those a month, and it saves you so much time. That gear, if you don't have crystals, if you're farming it every single day, just takes so long to grind at those top gear levels, and the Heroic Sith raid can make a huge difference when you're going for it. So find a guild, get top 10 in Heroic Sith raid. This doesn't necessarily mean just get good in the guild you're in, because it might be insurmountable. It might be more valuable for you to find a guild where getting top 10 is a little more manageable. I think that's okay. And I don't feel bad recommending that, because it would benefit you so much. Or just get good in the guild you're in right now and find a way to get up into those top 10 spots. All right, last tip. And this is, I think, one of the more important mental tips. Accept your place. As a free-to-play player, be zen with this. Now, this comes on a couple of fronts. Number one, just have fun with it, okay? You're free to play. You're not investing money in this game. You're just investing your time. Might as well enjoy the ride. Don't feel this constant rub with the pay-to-play players in this game. There's so many different people in so many different levels of this game, and that's okay. That is okay. If you constantly feel at conflict with them, or feel inferior, or in conflict, or whatever it is, that you're just gonna be miserable. You just need to accept that as a free-to-play player, you're gonna be disadvantaged in several ways. I've been there. I used to be a free-to-play player. I know what that feels like. Accept it. And then also, don't be that guy, okay? We get it. You're free to play. All right? Don't be that guy in the Twitch chats, and the YouTube chats, in the comment section, and your guild chats. That has to remind everybody every time you say anything ever about this game that you're free to play. As a free to play player, we get it. You're free to play. It's okay. We don't need to advertise that in every single thing. Lots of free-to-play players in this game. It is okay. All right, everyone. That's going to do it for the tips today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your hot free-to-play tips are in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. How are you guys managing out there that are free-to-play? I'd love to hear from you who are actually free-to-play, so that we can get as much perspective in here as possible. The video doesn't end here. The video ends in the comments section. So go down there and let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. And as always, my brothers, don't forget,